Uh-oh. Start recording. It looks like we're in webinar mode right now. So what's going on in the world today? What's up, guys? I'm excited today. So we got, I don't know how many shows we got into this, but we got a lot of them. And we finally got Mr. Grbic here. And he said I should have been on episode 1. But
I think I'm a little offended.
You're too busy creating icons and team leaders and being a ninja behind the curtain a little bit. And so I don't have to say too much about our relationship. I just know that we haven't been on a call in a long time too, regardless if it's the 2% Top Agent Expert Mastermind Monday series or not. And so I was thinking about that when I was like, man, we're going to be on a call. Business has definitely been growing for you guys. You guys have done some amazing things with your group and your tribe out there. And you really, like, early on in my career taught me how to like think differently, right? It's like we can get the sales down and all of that stuff. And let's move on to mastering marketing. And you were just looking at marketing applied to real estate, unorthodox than anybody else in our market, or even what I've really seen nationally is. And so you're going to get your story out, and it's like we're going to get to the one thing that makes Mike Grbic, Master Splinter, the ninja, the Jedi, right? And I remember me trying to do studying and trying to keep up with you. I'm like, have you seen this yet? And you're like, I've already been on that, or no, yes. And I'm like, where does this dude find time to research these things and study? Because it is a commitment. It's what you're consuming. It's what you're listening to. It's how you're looking at things. And it's learn, think, and you must create at some point in time. And I believe more so now than ever, the marketing piece is going to be that much more essential with the written word and video and so on and so forth, with contact rates dropping and the new cell phone laws where you can just opt out of a lot of things or your spam. And Mike's going to talk today, hopefully, about inbound marketing. A lot of you guys are in an outbound marketing state. And Mike's going to show us how to attract customers, not chase them. And he was, guys, a little bit offended that he's on episode whatever, not 1, but
like 402 right. Or something, right?
Yeah. No, I'm blessed. We got some things in the canon this week. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to go grab a pen, a piece of paper. I will tell you, on the team lead business mastery call, I caught the replay, and that was completely fire in terms of lead generation with the sellers, and even got me to rethink stuff now, not just back then. And I was like, even telling him about a website that I've had and it's been sitting, and I'm going to fire it back up, and it has me thinking a little bit differently after last week as well. And man, let's get into some of that stuff. And what makes Grbic, man? What is your one thing?
I got that superhero vision, man. I got that X-ray vision. I can see through and around things that some people can, some people can't. But I think if there's been like 1 or 2 superhuman gifts that I've had, it's been having a vision and then just a sick work ethic. And I think that translates a little bit over to my love of endurance sports, being a triathlete. I can deal with a lot for a long period of time. So my threshold of tolerance is really high. And so just I think that sick work ethic, and then being able to see maybe an opportunity that others didn't see, and then just be able to capitalize on that and not give up.
Vision is very interesting. It's like, where do you get it from though?
I'm just a student. I'm a lifelong student, man. I just love seeing success, models of success, and then being able to figure out, okay, why did that work? What was it about that I can take and pull into my business? I think I heard that years ago from my grandma. She says, you're going to learn a little bit of something from everyone. Some of it's for you, some of it's not, but just take the part that you can use and apply it to your life. And that's what I've done in business. And I'm just grateful for a ton of mentors and coaches I've had over the years that have just set different examples in front of me. And then it's just been a catalyst to saying, okay, let's chase that down. Let's go down that rabbit trail for a little while and see where it goes. So anyway, I think just being a lifelong student, man, that's where it started for me. I got back in the business after I first got my license in 94, but got back in the business really full-time in real estate in 2002. And I was blessed because the broker that I selected, the very first broker I selected when I got back in real estate, had been a coaching student. So he had tons and tons of coaching materials from Star Power University, from Craig Proctor, from a lot of different. I said, what are you doing with this stuff? Because nobody wants it, nobody will read it. I'm like, I'll take it. And so he gave me his entire library. And
that is how Mike Grbic started his training library, guys, right there. That is a fact.
And now it takes up an entire storage unit.
And I was his first guinea pig with it.
It's good stuff. But it's been interesting because it's funny how one little thing in your life is inserted in there and it can totally change or alter your trajectory. Look at the example of you and I working together years ago. You would have never thought to get into real estate.
If it wasn't the last downturn.
It wasn't on your radar.
No.
And
I thought it.
And when I got back in real estate, I had no idea I was going to build a big real estate team, be a real estate coach. I didn't really understand any of that. But thankfully, the very first, I would say, mentor I had in the real estate space was actually my broker, who basically just gave me his coaching library. And I'm a good student. I copy and paste like the best of them. And so I took a lot out of that. And I realized that if you don't have a way of predictably generating new business every single day, you're going to be broke. Because my ability to personally use my sweat to generate new business, whether it be knocking on doors or picking up that really heavy plastic telephone to make phone calls, one of the two, that's what you can do with your time, your effort, and your skill. But the minute you fill up your calendar with appointments, you no longer are prospecting, right? So it ends up being this yo-yo effect of, hey, I'm broke, so I got to get on the phone or do some door knocking, generate all this business. Now I got to go service that business, right? And so as I'm servicing the business, the revenue tails off. And so that was something I learned early on is, okay, how do I make the phone ring every day? How do I generate it?
That's all you did when I met you was the phone rang and he had people sit around answer it. And then a couple other people just stare at it, wait for it to ring again. I'm like, guys, hello, we can call somebody. They were like a zombie on the inbound calls. And it's like, I don't even call. I had to get initiated into the group, but you were definitely all inbound. Being able to write commercials. I actually came across a commercial. I sent it to you after this. Shortly after you had sold and you went off into retirement until I was crazy enough to persuade you to come back. Thank you for that, by the way. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. And you were coaching me on the radio ads. And so I got a full 1 minute block of, if you remember sending me the radio ads and you were working with me on those. And I'll send it to you. It's interesting. But my question kind of ties into that. I want to figure out how to replace these appointments with appointments while I'm staying in selling mode. But where did the writing come from? Studying is one thing, the reading, but it's to be able to write radio ads. I know you were part of the rate program and that stuff.
No, I never was.
You never was? And
nope.
That's what amazes me. You never were, right? But it's like you ran the best radio across the country, even when we got out and traveled and stuff. So where's that writing come from? Or maybe even just the structure of how to put a radio ad together? What's that look like?
Oh, that's an interesting way you're taking the conversation.
It's part of your story. You can get to it. I want you to get to your one thing. But
it's cool.
That to me, right, being able to write ads is part of your one thing, like radio ads.
I think if you realize that we are primarily in the marketing business, then you got to learn how to use words to persuade people. And there are certain words that make people more at ease, more comfortable. There are certain words that build trust and authority. There are certain things that you can put into your sales copy or in your letter or your postcard that will make people more apt to trust you over somebody else. It's called differentiation, right? The more different we are on the radio. So if I just got on the radio and I said, "Hi, I'm a realtor. Here's my name. Call me if you have any needs." Like, there's no differentiation. There's nothing. But if I get on the radio and I said, "Finally, a program designed for the home seller, not the realtor," right? Flexible commissions, cancel anytime. You can even sell it yourself while listed and pay nothing. If you're not happy, fire me. Who the hell says that? So I think just having sales copy that was written in a way that really differentiated us from from everyone else. One of the first USPs I had for sellers was, "I guarantee to sell your home in 60 days or I'll pay you $1,000, which I got originally from Craig Proctor. I since dropped that. But that was very effective for me early in the day, because everybody was like, "Well, hell, he's going to put his money where his mouth is." If I was willing to pay you $1,000 if I couldn't sell your house, then I'm raising my level of certainty that I can get the job done at a price that they're happy with. And if I believe that much in me, then they should believe that much in me as well. You disappeared off my screen. I guess you're.
It's all you, man. So I helped.
Okay, all right.
I helped intro you into this thing, so it's
all right. So
man.
we'll get into some good stuff then. Okay. What business are we in? We are in the marketing business. Guys, if you think you're in the real estate business, you are mistaken. The marketing business is what gets you into the real estate business. If you have no customers, then you don't get an opportunity to practice real estate on them. Okay, so the real estate business is the skill of being a real estate agent to perform good service and get people across the finish line to successfully sell a home or successfully get someone into home, right? So that's the skill, and we only get that through experience, right? And so that's the catch-22 we always run into is, I don't have enough experience yet to have developed a skill, but I got to go out and market myself to get business in order to get the experience, right? Here's the thing I want you guys to write down. If you take nothing else out of today, write this down on your whiteboard next to you and read this to yourself every day. I am a master marketer. I am a master marketer. You need to start appreciating the importance of marketing in your business. Because if you're good at marketing, then the phone will ring, the email inbox will flow with leads. You'll get texts from leads, right? If you're good at marketing, people will come to you, and you won't have this yo-yo effect, this roller coaster effect of where your volume is up, your volume is down, because it's dependent on your activity. One of the things I think I was really particularly good at early in my career was finding things that generated business in a predictable way. And if there was a human element involved at all, I found somebody else to do it. Right? So some things you can do, you can spend money on. Other things that you may have to do yourself, such as door knock or make phone calls. Did you know you can actually hire people to do that too? Right? So you can hire people to make phone calls. You can hire people to do door knocking. Obviously check what's legal in your state and if it requires a license or not. But I was particularly good at finding a system that would work to generate new business and then paying somebody else to do it. I think I hired my next door neighbor initially as my first ISA. So her job was look at the expireds and the for sale by owners every day, mail them all a postcard every week, and get on the phone and call them and book me an appointment. And that was my next door neighbor when I was officing out of my house. So it's entirely possible to have some inbound business as well and not just be chasing, but also attracting. But there's a whole lot to it. And so that's what I want to unpack today. So forgive me, Adam, but you're giving me an hour, and the shortest program I teach is 12 weeks. So I'm going to give you some of the highlight reel of what I teach.
Yeah, I figured we'd go over a little bit today, man, because it's like we both ain't been on a call forever. And so you trying to get it in an hour. Okay. But we're just going to sit back here. If it's horrible, we're going to have spit wads through straws for you with the classes in session.
There you go. All right,
Let's
buddy.
go.
So first things first, if you ever watch Shark Tank, they always talk about client acquisition cost. What should it cost me to generate a piece of business? Let me turn the question around on you. What do you typically pay another agent for a referral? 25%? 30%? What do you pay OpCity for their referral fee? Ooh, that's even more, right? So when you think about what it costs you to generate business internally versus letting someone else take the risk and charge you more, you're very happy to pay 25% referral to another agent, or 30% or 35% to another agent or to a company to generate business for you. Why aren't you willing to pay 15% of your own business, of your own sales, 15%, and into your own marketing? So if you take a little pen and paper, jot this down, whatever your average sales price is in your market, take that times the average commission in your market. Let's say it's 500,000 average sales price, 2.7% commission. Do the math, whatever that is. Okay. Now take that times 0.15, 15%. That should be your client acquisition cost. In other words, your marketing budget. When I say marketing, that is your lead generation and lead conversion cost. Now, some of you are say, wait a minute, my agents are responsible for conversion. Yes, they are to a degree, but the closer you get them to the commission check, the more successful you'll be, the less turnover you'll be, the more happy agents you'll have, right? The greater percentage of your people will make it because you're getting them closer and closer to the conversion, right? To the commission check. So 15% is your total marketing budget. How many homes do you want to sell? Take that number, that 0.15 times the commission, take that number times 3 homes a month, 10 homes a month, 100 homes a month. You'll get the idea. The spend of 15% times however many homes you want to sell. Okay. And don't spend in hopes of generating business. Spend a percentage of what you're currently earning. I'll tell you what most agents and team leaders do. Not all, many of them will take that money they just earned from a house sale, they'll stick it in their pocket, and they'll take it home with them and go pay their mortgage and their house payment and probably not pay their taxes. And so they don't end up treating the business like a business, and it has needs. It has financial needs. You got to respect that. But that 15% is going to be allocated across your marketing funnel, right? For those of you who have been in any of my programs before, you know what these mean, but top of funnel is tofu, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. What these are really referring to is intent. How close are they to transacting? Okay. Many people are generating top of funnel leads. So like Google pay-per-click leads, Facebook ad leads. You have no idea if they actually are going to sell a house or if that's the correct phone number or not, or the correct email address or not. You have no idea. We suspect they may want to do something, but we have no idea, right? That's called top of funnel. They're the cheapest to get, but they have the lowest conversion. Of course, you can use AI and automations and drips and all that kind of thing to help nurture those things over time. You can also run ads to or mailings to those people. That's called middle of funnel. Your middle of the funnel is what builds trust and authority. If you don't have trust and you don't have authority, they're never going to want to do business with you. So the whole objective, if you're going to do tofu leads, and you should, because that's where your long-term highest ROI is going to come from, but then that makes you also responsible to nurture those people so that they eventually drop into the bottom. Okay. Bottom of funnel leads, what does that mean? That's people who are ready to transact. So if someone's sitting in front of a house and they call the number on the sign because they want to see that house. That's what we would call the bottom of funnel, right? Someone calls your Google local services ad because they typed in realtor in Birmingham, Alabama, and your name popped up and they called you. That's a bottom of funnel. They're ready to transact. Open houses have a high percentage of bottom of funnel, right? But you have to have a nice mix. This 15% of marketing right here, it gets allocated across your top, middle, and bottom of funnel. And make sure you have at least 2, if not 3 sources of business in each of those. The purpose of middle of funnel is to make something, turn the top of funnel into bottom of funnel. There's no such thing as a middle of funnel lead. You either put stuff in the top and then you nurture it to come to the bottom, or you drop it in the top and it falls to the bottom immediately because it was bottom of funnel, right? So the whole objective here is to have the closings coming out the bottom at a cost of sale at 15% of your growth or less. I say that because if you don't really burn that in your head and study it with your P&L every single month, you know exactly what you've spent year to date in marketing, and you know what your GCI has been year to date, then you really have no idea if you've budgeted properly or not. This is something you got to review once a month. Okay. So if we have the client acquisition cost down, by the way, that includes lead conversion. So your 15% is including ISAs. Some people will call that a salary expense. ISAs to me are actually a marketing expense. Okay. So when I tell you your marketing budget is 15%, it is including any sort of inside sales agents that are also helping you to nurture those. It would include AI tools, software tools that are used for the purpose of conversion, whether you're talking about bomb videos, there's tons of different things you could be using for automations. AI is a great way of staying in touch with people, and there's a cost associated with that. That's a marketing cost. It touches people you've already put in your funnel with messaging to help them convert to go to the bottom of the funnel. Okay. When we talk about bottom of funnel leads, this is super important because you could build an entire team around just bottom of funnel, but it's a really shallow well. And you run the risk of running dry. What do I mean by that? I've coached a number of top teams, some of which have built entire teams of 40, 50, 60 agents with Zillow Flex or OpCity. Nothing wrong with that, except they don't have 50 customers a month. They have 1 customer a month. And if that customer decides they don't like you anymore, you have no business anymore. Right? So it's a real shallow well, and it's one where there's a lot of risk involved for you as the team leader. Your business is on shaky ground until you build other legs of the table around you to provide that firm foundation. Okay. With your, what I'll call portal business or referral business from places like OpCity, Ojo, and there's 40 different referral places out there, even including Zillow Flex. You should be taking advantage of all of that. And it's a great way to get people who are bottom of funnel without risking capital yourself. But that does not a business make. That you're basically an employee or a 1099 contractor for Zillow, showing houses and writing a contract for them. Okay. We have to build other legs to your business as well that don't involve just paying referral fees. By the way, that's extremely expensive. If you're paying 30, 35% referral fees on all of business that you have coming in the front door, but you could do the same thing yourself for 15%, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm not saying don't take that business from these portals. By all means, take it. And it's now business, so you can grow and scale a team with that. You can hire agents, and they're going to have immediate closings because there's people wanting to go see houses, right? So that's important. What are some other ways that we can generate a business that maybe we haven't thought of much? I'll give you one. How about mortgage leads? How many of you are actually partnering with a lender and they're spending money to generate leads for pre-approvals, and then you're offering to follow up with those people for them? Mortgage leads are all bottom of funnel. It's just that only about half of them, depending on the source, only about half of them don't have an agent already. But half of them need you. That's one source of business I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but partnering with a company that's generating mortgage leads, and then you as the agent helping to follow up with those and help convert that. That's a great source of business. To generate buyer leads, we used to just dangle properties in front of people, but properties are going so quick. It's like being a listing agent is where we need to spend all of our effort and our time and our money is to generate listings, because listings are a sure thing, especially in a tight inventory market. If we just dangle properties in front of buyers, will snatch them up. But what if I want a seller? How do I get a seller? We dangle buyers in front of sellers. So the two campaigns essentially become, I have a buyer or I am a buyer. I have a buyer or I am a buyer. So what do I mean by that? We were very successful in some of our campaigns that we did, both with direct mail and with Facebook ads, at targeting specific neighborhoods that we had a buyer for. And we would say, we have a buyer, Bob and Mary. They have 2 kids. They want to be in this school district. They need to be there before August. We're looking for this. We can't find it. We told them we would knock every door, call every person, mail every household to see if anybody had thought of selling their home in this neighborhood. Do you know of anyone thinking of selling? So personalizing the I have a buyer makes it way more effective than just saying I have buyers, right? Because they know that's like really hollow, but it becomes more real if you say, hey, I need your help. I've got this person I'm trying to serve and they have these needs. Of anyone who maybe could help us solve this need? Perhaps you. So that whole process of getting in front of a seller with a real human being buyer, do it in the form of a letter. That's very effective. I wouldn't say postcards. Letter is. What if I sat down and wrote you a letter, put my business card inside of it, signed it, and I articulated about this person, and we desperately want to be in this subdivision? I'm going to get a great response. As a percentage-wise, I'm going to get a great response on that. Much more than I just have buyers. Have you thought of selling? Completely different. So talking about wordsmithing things, like taking the time to put together a well-written letter makes a world of difference in any marketing you're doing. Here's one that a lot of people don't realize, and this is something we talked about last week on our team building call, and that is we have a lot of competitors in our industry that are not even licensed agents. They're called wholesalers, and they're way better at finding motivated sellers than you are, because they're offering cash for people's homes and they're aggressively mailing, calling, texting these people. And they pull up specific lists that are high value lists, such as vacant properties, tired landlords, out of state landlords, for rent by owner, pre-foreclosure, probate. They're experts at pulling these lists, skip tracing it, and doing mailings or call campaigns to these people. And we in the retail real estate industry I think most of us have mostly ignored those competitors, but they're taking your clients, potentially taking your clients. My suggestion to all of you is become investors yourself, at the very least become wholesalers, so that you can find motivated sellers. I can tell you from our own math, and I've seen this statistic other places too, so it's not just my own personal experience with our own company, but I've seen this with other people. It's about 1 out of 10 is a conversion rate for a cash for homes lead. So some people would say, I'm paying $3 for a home evaluation lead. I'm like, great, I'd pay $300 for a cash for homes lead, right? There may be a huge difference in cost, but there's also a very big difference in intent. What you're telling me is I just generated a tofu lead for $3-4. I'm telling you, I got it all the way down to here for 300. I'll pay the 300, right? Because even with a 1 out of 10 conversion on someone being willing to take a cash offer that's way below market value, enough for an investor to buy it, that means I just got 9 other people who I got appointments to go see their house who still need to sell. Wholesalers can't do anything with them. Wholesalers can't do anything with those people. You guys can. Because when they're looking for a buyer for their home who will pay more than an investor can pay, you have access to them. Some of them, you may have buyers in your database who would happily write an offer on that house. But once it hits the MLS, it's going to be multiple offers, even if it's in bad shape. You're just going to have to price it appropriately. My point is, if you can generate 10 motivated seller leads, by that I mean someone wanting a cash offer for their home because there's intent to sell, not just curiosity. That's what we're looking for, is intent. You can pay way more per lead. And there's a ton of companies out there that you can pay to do Google marketing for you or YouTube ads for you to find people who are wanting a cash offer on their home. You could create your own cash offers landing page, separate from your brand, separate from your website. You can have lots of direct mail campaigns to generate these, but you need to treat them differently. You need to treat them separately. Okay. And you can't outsource the conversion. You got to own the conversion. None of this do you get to outsource your responsibility to oversee it. You may go and have somebody else do a function of this for you, but you can't outsource the responsibility. You still are responsible for the outcome. I've seen too many people that say, I tried this and it didn't work. I'm like, okay, what did you do? I'm talking people maybe who ran the same radio ads that I ran. And they're saying, I can't convert these. What are you trying to do? And so how you answer the phone, how you assume the sale, how you convert these leads will have a great impact on whether or not that turns into business for you. Because some business that's coming in the door, like for example, if you called into my office to go see a house and I treat you like I did a website lead that just registered yesterday, I'm probably not going to get the sale because I'm talking too much. But if you call in to see the house and I schedule an appointment to go show you the house and then get you on the phone with my lender, I'm probably going to convert you at a high percent. Okay. You got to treat the now business a little bit differently than maybe you're used to with the tofu business. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Here's a couple other ones. There are AI tools that will use big data to look at all the homes in your zip code or whatever area you define and tell you which ones have the highest probability based on demographics and behavior and all these things that have a high probability of selling in the next 90 days. Well, that would be useful. That takes my mailing campaign, let's say from 10,000 houses down to 1,000 houses. And these are the ones that have the highest probability of wanting to sell. right? There are tools out there, and there are several, but I'll give you one. One of them is called likely.ai. Great tool, likely.ai, but it's a tool that'll allow you to go and get data that's already narrowed down to the ones that are most likely to transact, right? And that's super important. Here's one that a lot of people don't get, and this is really comes from my years in radio, but this is when I really realized two things. One is frequency is more important than reach. Reach is how many people I hit. Reach is how many times I hit them. Okay? Width or depth? I want depth. Some people say, well, I'd like 1 million people to see my ad on the Super Bowl. 1 million people are going to see that ad once. What's your chances of converting people in a 30-second or a minute-long ad? I mean, yeah, there's 1 million people, but they don't know you. They don't trust you. There's no brand authority. There's no nothing. Right? I learned this with radio. Frequency is way more important than reach. I would rather you hit 5,000 people 5,000 times than 1 million people once. I don't know what the math works out to be. You guys can figure that out. But my point is I want you guys going deep with your frequency. Don't worry about reach. I would rather show my ad to fewer people. I would rather mail fewer people more often. That's why farming is so effective, right? It might take 12, 18, 24 months for a direct mail farm to start to really hit a good ROI, but it's extremely effective. It's been proven over time. Many people have been successful at that, right? Why? Because you're familiar. There's trust and authority that's been established. That's what the magic MOFU is for. The magic MOFU is building trust and authority. They have to believe you. They have to believe you have happy customers who have had great experiences, and that if they call you to use your service, they're likely to have the same experience too. They have to believe that. So what do I stick in front of them? We've got to stick things like social proof. I got to show you examples of people just like you who had a problem, whose problem got solved because they used us, right? And so you can do that in video testimonial. You can have a photo of a client at closing getting the keys to their home. You can have a photo of them in front of their home that you just sold for them, right? And then tell a story. This home was listed for 90 days by another realtor, didn't get the job done. Mike listed my home and sold it in 24 hours for over asking price. It's that hero's journey. Problem, solution, result. And so you got to be able to tell that story in your middle of funnel marketing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about weaving in testimonials, not only in your websites, but your drip emails, in your postcard campaigns. Every postcard should have some kind of little testimonial on it. Here's a happy person. They trusted me. They had a good experience. It's just one of those things that build credibility. What's another one? Anything that statistically helps you stand out. For many years, it was faster and for more money, because statistically, I sold houses way faster and for more money than the average agent. Many of you are the same way. If we did your stats versus the MLS average, you probably sell homes faster and you probably sell homes for closer to asking price with less negotiation. If that's true, then you could say, I sell homes 23 days faster and for 2.3% more money than the average agent, right? That is a statistical evidence of the results you're able to get for people. What's other social proof? I'm the #1 agent in zip code 34205, right? I sell more homes than anybody. Whatever your thing is, find something you're great at that would be relevant to the people you're serving and beat on that, because social proof, both statistical proof, awards that you've gotten. Hey, I just got an Icon award. Hey, I just got ranked best realtor by the local city newspaper. Like whatever your social proof is, put it out there and you talk about it. And this is all part of this middle of funnel marketing strategy, because only If I generate 1,000 leads a month here and I want them to fall down, I got to spend some money here. Most of you, your idea of the middle of the funnel is like an overseas ISA making phone calls, and that's it. Or your agent's making phone calls, and that's it. That's not a middle of funnel. Middle of funnel is a omnipresent approach so that we're getting frequency of brand impression with those people with positive brand messaging that demonstrates that you guys get results and you have done so over time, and that you can provide some sort of statistical proof if you have it. That's extremely helpful. So we talked about that. Oh, so here's another one. If you guys haven't watched one of the videos that we did last year, it's you can actually go on YouTube and Google it, or go on YouTube and YouTube it. Frank Klesitz did a video on what he calls the golden letter, the golden seller letter. And it's really simple, but it's basic, very effective, very similar to what I said before. It's either I have a buyer, and here's who they are, and here's what they're looking for, or I am a buyer. And both are very effective, but a simple letter direct to the homeowner saying, I have a buyer for your home, or I am a buyer. And especially if you're doing that to a list of homes that are pre-selected in some way because they have either through likely.ai, either have a high probability of selling, or they're on some kind of a list, like a probate list, a pre-foreclosure list, something. Otherwise, it's okay to do the mailing. It's just your response rate's not going to be as high. If I was an agent starting over today, one of the things I think a lot of people try and do, and these are, by the way, some fantastic people, but a lot of people don't, when they're building a team, they say, I don't want to make it about me. I don't want to make this about me. I'm here for my agents. And that sounds noble, and that's wonderful, but your job as a team leader is to bring customers in the front door. Your job is to bring people in the front door of your business so that you can hand them to your buyer's agents or your listing agents to go out and service that business. Okay. And if you're trying to do it with a ego-free brand, like ABC team, the Bob and Mary team, the 5-star team, the Red Door team, I'm not going to pick on anybody in particular, but you know who you are. The teams that are ego-free, I'm not saying it can't work, it's just a hell of a lot harder. They have to overcome the brand not having a face. The brand that has a face will always do better than the brand who doesn't have a face. Okay? Because somebody has to be the messenger. Sellers are pre-programmed to think of who to sell a home with. And many people have a brand for their team or their business that doesn't have their name in it, or it's just a last name, right? And unfortunately, nobody calls Jones over to sell their home. They call Jacob Jones or whatever. So you've got to have a brand and a logo that is first name, last name, because the open house signs, the directional house for sale arrows, the yard sign, the website, the postcards, all of that works together to make positive brand impressions. You guys are competing with Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all the other companies out there that have done a really good job of putting a symbol in people's minds. I want you to pretend like you're running for politics, and you got to get people to remember your name. Okay? That's how you need to treat our hunt for new business. Go out there and find new business, but just don't be shy about putting your name all over it, right? There are no such thing as secret agents, at least not successful ones, right? You can be a secret agent, but you can be a broke agent. Secret agents don't make any money. If you're going to want to be successful at a high level in this business, you got to have a brand that is your first name, last name. Okay. Otherwise, you're fighting an uphill battle. I'm not saying you can't win, but the odds are not in your favor. What else? I jotted a bunch of notes here today.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm muted. Man, you covered a lot there. Smoking, man. Yeah, like where do I even start? I grabbed my pen and a piece of paper, and it goes back to taking this a step further when you're talking about creating ads or getting a direct response from getting the right message in front of the right person, not just at the top of the funnel, but closer down, spending some hundreds, because it's about the intent that you're able to capture them in that really actively selling stage, right? We're pretty close to it. And it's like you're telling me with the help of AI, I can start writing and getting messages out there. So once again, you're getting back to the writing piece of this, because most people are just letting rain, make it rain, run their ads, or you name it. It's like Commission, Boomtown, Ylopo, Sierra, name them all. A Cheplack Digital. Like, how many people are really writing their own ads? Or is that, I know you,
Well,
like, email stuff is big with a newsletter or something like that, but where's the message? I wrote a lot of scripts with you. When I wrote a lot of scripts, for our call center, that I ended up getting them off the ground. I actually going to share some stuff on Thursday with you guys, a 2-hour special on building an empire. I'm hijacking your call for a minute, Mike. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time Thursday. Michelle Wilson's going to be on there, and 4 other guests as well. So that it's like that building an empire is going to be fire. But when you're writing these ads, texting is really taken off. And I know that you've been systematic with working with Chime with the automation piece to that. And then, like, I agree with you. Call action, I can hit refresh with a little AI guy, and it will like bring back the text that they're going to most likely respond to from the data in their system already. Is writing these messages, or the short-term video through, is radio, like, where is radio now? Is it YouTube? Is it texting, short videos, consuming them in like story type of approaches, because stories are down, and they're saying the supply for short stories on YouTube there's a shortage of it. And so I know that we uploads all long form content stuff. These 1-minute stories, I saw Blake starting to do them. Where are the eyeballs and the ears at?
You're talking about two different things, in my opinion. One is
right.
You're talking about a paid strategy, which can be very predictable, versus an organic strategy, which is not so predictable. They both serve a purpose. And I think long-term, you should have a website that ranks high with SEO, and you should be allocating some funds to SEO long-term. And I think you should be heavy on YouTube. But that's not a predictable strategy. I have to be able to predict it through paid metrics, right? So and even if I tell you Google pay-per-click is great for
play the long game, leads. Passive prospecting, man.
Yeah, but even if I tell you the Google pay-per-click is good for buyer leads, and it is, who's running them?
The thing is, most people don't ask the right question to identify them as a seller lead. If they do identify them as a seller lead, they don't have a seller process behind that right. They're going in like a quad ending.
Yeah. So there's a lot of directions we could go with that, but
no, it's a 2-step process that I want you to stop, go back with the writing, with the text and the marketing piece to it. Like, where did that come from with you when you started writing radio ads? Like, you had a mentor. Get the door, buddy. So it was like, did the mentor teach you how to write these ads? Like, going back to commercial, and it just like, you talk about being able to create these things to differentiate. I've seen you more so attach an imagery or a logo or something around it and be able to tell a story to differentiate from the other value offers. So it's not just blended together, because I've heard you, it's the tangible value is there, but there's a lot of perceived value that a lot of people have access to. That's a commodity. They just don't package it and position it and make it like an offer. Or so the aesthetic piece to that with the writing piece has been great. And it's so YouTube obviously there, but where where else would you be kind of, you told me I was crazy for posting stuff on the internet way back in the days, like Facebook, you couldn't even upload a video yet. YouTube, I was taking the link and posting it there. Mike thought I was crazy, and he was very scripted. And that was when production was still like a thing before going viral or just organic came out. And you didn't think that stuff would take off, and it did. It was crazy. And I think videos evolved again over the last 5 years with things like CRM Grow, Dub. It's easy to get that video message out there with tracking and things like that. But it's like the written word in short form. It's like with the texting piece to that, what does some of them numbers look like with Chime? But it's like you're paying for the conversion twice. That's the third step. And I was on Chris Smith's Conversion Club. I'm a part of that. And I was speaking with some people, and you are absolutely right. Like you could even put money on that second level conversion, but it's like that one, you can't mess that up. You know what I mean? And it's important, but the lead coordination person has came into the mix. And so the way that you're talking, there's a lot of data management involved. And I know we've dealt with a lot of data management every single morning. We did it for an hour and had systems and fed the top of the funnel from different sources and stuff like that. But it is the texting or the live chat you've seen with any of your other partners been killing it. Like we were, when we left, like Wendy's even left that chat sitting there. But so those are the three things like I think that you have to focus on is you're creating your own market. And what you got me thinking about is like getting back into taking a piece of data and turning it into something. Because you talked about top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and it's okay, but you're not just getting, and I'm not talking about like the Google leads, the $10, $15 leads. I'm talking about you're still talking about augmenting data that you could make some offers to, and then it could be closer to the intent of actually selling versus having that third party middleman. Is what I'm getting at is everybody has people write their own ads. Everybody's got their own, like the same stuff as their neighbor. So
I think everyone's too disengaged from the actual process.
The human side of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a human being with real fears and real concerns and real skepticism that's on the other side of this device, and they're looking at their phone scrolling and your ad pops up. Does it connect with them? Is it hitting them with the right message at the right time? Right. So I got to hit the right audience with the right message at the right time. So part of this thing with the top of funnel is it not just a lead. It could be a pixel fire or an ad engagement. So let's say you do a video, and anyone who likes it or comments on it or engages with it or watches a certain percentage of it is now in a certain audience set that now is going to get your indoctrination series, right? Your middle of funnel. That magic middle is the indoctrination series where you get to really spit some.
This is where you get creative with the conversion piece to this. And like Blake, I don't know, it was his last mastermind he ran. It was a 4-hour series, and he actually let it get out of the vault. And it was amazing because the value propositions that he learned from us, and it's amazing seeing these guys kill it. But by the way, you guys are absolutely rocking it and taking the playbook. But it's interesting watching them all run it. And and for me, it's like, there's just some things that just are never changed. Like I was listening to Blake, and all of our value propositions, he broke down the biggest excuse, and it is the reluctance buster. You know what I mean? And you went through the 4 or 5 that we ran, or a variation of them, and it literally takes care of the risk. It takes care of this. It takes care of that. And hearing them break that down, like we used to have to role play those in our team meetings, and it's like when you're creating these from an image or from whatever, it's like, where's a worry-free listing come from? What does that even mean? Like,
well, and whatever your differentiator is, like for sellers, for us, it was the worry-free listing. Early in my career was my 60-day guarantee, 60 days or $1,000.
89-point marketing plan. This dude has 89 different ways to position your home, proactively get it sold. Versus what that other agent has, which is a 3-point marketing plan. You know what they do? agree upon price, stick sign in the yard. They kick back with their feet on the desk and wait to see who calls them. That's not how Mr. Grbic does business. When can we come out, morning or afternoons? I sold the crap out of some 89-point marketing plan stuff. Might just be trimming bushes and things like that. But that leads into you then giving your salespeople something to sell. Like you gave me something to sell, even though it's like I had no idea what the worry-free stuff is, but I learned later that it's a full package of stuff.
But you got to have a product. You can be a great salesman, but if you don't create a product or a program that you can sell and create some image with it, create a logo for it, name it, you know, it's your new pet.
Right.
You really need this thing over here. I created it just to solve all your problems.
Love it or leave it guaranteed. If you absolutely do not love your home, Mr. Grbic, after you purchase it through us, which you will, we'll turn around and sell it for free within 12 months. Now that's definitely fair enough to see what the other 9 benefits are on there in the Home Buyer Advantage program to meet me for 15 minutes. When you say,
now you guys know why he ran the call center.
No, it's just fun. It's interesting listening to Chris Smith or Chris Gurney absolutely killed it the other day on, it was the Rise Consulting coaching caller monthly deal. And, you know, and I sent it to him, Chris and his lender. It was amazing. And it's like the things that they've went through, even split testing the scripts and things like that on the phone. And really, it's like, we don't talk about interest rates at all. And by the way, our lenders help us set appointments for our agents, and we're all hands on deck around here. We talk about house payments, not interest rates. And so I found that interesting. When I was building the call center, we wouldn't say pre-approval. We wouldn't say the industry sticky words. Like we have to, I challenge them to speak around it, right? Like you're saying, talk. And so it's, who cares about a credit score? If you're pre-approved or pre-qualified, the difference, they don't care. And so being able to even offer many things that are the perceived value, but it's the easy process, letting you know your credit score in a matter of minutes with our co-marketing partner, not our lender, not even saying lender. And it's like being able to pick and choose that to position the different offerings at different times. For you, it's like you get them to respond from an inbound stuff, and agents would speak to them on sign call. We would come back over the next day and find people to get opt-ins because you were trying to build a database. You had 30% of Wichita in your database at one given time. And it's like
the top of funnel. Yep.
But I hear you also say
the long game.
Go smaller in terms of your niche or other tech to help cut down the costs on the postcards and even the outbound stuff, just because of the inbound approach to that. And so what would you pay right now if I was to come through a website, kind of like Carrot, and then they run a good website. I was actually on their webinar the other night. Those guys are sharp over there, by the way, but it's like for a set listing appointment on your calendar, the way that we used to kick them out with a seller questionnaire, then, you know, the packets being in the mail shipped, it's on the calendar. How much would you pay for something like that right now? 500, 600?
There's not enough information to give you an answer. So
no, just like we were before.
Here's the answer. You got to know your conversion rate on the appointment. Because I got to know my cost of sale, not cost of lead. So, for example, typically when we took a listing, I knew a certain percentage of them would sell, right? Typically, if I got an appointment that actually happened, we would list 40 to 50% of them.
This is huge,
right? This is important. And so you're doing business with strangers set up by ISAs, or these are not people who are warm referrals. You're going to convert those at 90%, but you're going to convert strangers at 40 to 50. If you're doing that at 50, 60, 80, 100 a month, you're not going to convert all of them. Once you know your math on the conversion for that lead source, then you can backdoor into how much I can pay for that lead. Right?
And that's what most people don't understand. You don't know if that $600 is a good deal or a bad deal.
Yeah, some people would look at leads coming off of some of these sites like needtosellmyhousefast.com or LeadZolo or Carrot or motivatedleads.com or some of these. You're going to spend 150, 200, 300, 400, 500 bucks a lead. And you look at that and have a little bit of a heart palpitation, but you have no context. And if you know what that is, you're actually going to convert way more than 1 out of 10 that the wholesaler will, because you can sell their house no matter what. So you can convert 4, 5, 6 out of 10 into a listing, potentially.
So the lead coordination piece to that with the data management piece, it's like you're going out here and figuring out other little micro funnels outside of these major lead generation companies, all kind of running the same thing. Yeah. And figuring out a way to still zap them in through Zapier with an API. So the lead gen is a little bit different. Your eyeballs are different places. You're scraping data off the internet, it sounds like, or being sent some type of different list that's going to have to be reformatted or fed into some type of auto dialer if you're going to break the sales and marketing piece up. And this is where I think people fell with what you mentioned a few minutes ago. It's like when you start getting at this level in the game, it's like the sales and the marketing team got to be on the same page. Like whatever the VA ISA is saying in terms of value propositions, outcome, brand promises that were made, the handoff, all of these things that get mutually agreed upon before the agent gets involved and changes stuff, blows it up, or it's a smooth transition. I don't know. And so that was one thing that I prided ourselves on is this. And we went through hell, a lot of fights, everything, but it just made us better. Every person that challenged the system along the way. And thank you to people that's participated in it over the years, because it works beautifully like a machine, but you do have to step out of it and look down and understand your numbers with some of that stuff.
Yeah. It takes commitment, and it takes time and effort. And I just see a lot of the team leaders, I've coached a number of them, a lot of them just are too disengaged, or they're too busy with one little piece of their business. I'm too busy being a listing agent to actually see the forest through the trees.
Or too busy running a revenue share group. I don't know. It's like we've had some success and some good luck there, but we've also had some bad luck with sicknesses and surgeries or people taking jobs like Club Wealth and certain things. But I feel a lot of good luck coming back around. I got some news, but it's like the communication though, if that handoff is not done perfectly in terms of the setup, like copying them on text and then reinforcing what you said to the prospect so the agent can pick up that conversation, it has helped us over the years versus just sending it on a calendar and emailing it. Text has been a little more personable, ties them together, and then you can get the notes out there. And so it goes back to the human side of it a little more. Right? And nobody wants a buyer consultation, a listing appointment, or anything like that. I mean, going back through even some of the recruiting calls of how I was driving people to the marketing briefing, and it's like them old calls, I was killing it with just getting people to a business briefing or a marketing briefing. And so many people were interested in that marketing piece, but it's like you can't just market your way to success. Like you're really going to have to develop like what you did with me. And you talk about the personal development side of things. I came in, I'm hungry, went through the last downturn, and I'm willing to get on the phone. We can't give these things, these houses away, 300 signs in yards, 9 homes pending. We want a free hot cake today. I just hammered that.
But my lesson coming out of that 2008, 2009 era was that marketing wins.
Without a doubt.
If you don't take your foot off the gas, even when times are tough, don't be stingy with the marketing. Still spend that 15% of gross, even when you feel like, oh my gosh, there's nothing left.
Not a lot of people, not a lot of people know this. He about pulled the plug on me when I had him $100 grand in debt, and he's going to Disneyland and he's cutting it when he gets back. How well that work out for you?
Yeah, it worked out all right.
Yeah, but we didn't know what we were doing yet. You know what I mean? Like we didn't set out to do what we ended up doing at all. Like it is like beautifully built and came together quickly. But that's what happens when you organize people and you have people sitting on the right seat on the bus, and then you're developing them along the way. And so how did you get all these characters and keep them together? And it's even like that, running the network together to run the machine. And then what is the overall marketing budget? What was that number again? I want people to write that down. Is
15% of your growth.
And that is with your ISA piece as well. So you're paying.
That's including ISAs. This is going to sound different for everybody, but I'll pick on you because I know your market.
Yeah.
So your average sales price there is what, 200?
Yeah.
Right at. So take the 200 times 0.03, because I know that's a 3% market. Some
Mhm.
people are less, like you get beat up in certain markets, a little bit less. Take that 3% times 200,000. That's $6,000 for a sale. 6,000 times 0.15, $900. You can spend $900 per sale in Wichita, Kansas on marketing. Now that may mean you can pay $400 for a radio call-in appointment. It may mean that you could spend $200 on a cash for homes lead, and then
With the
incubate those.
600, so the $600 that I proposed to you, is that a good deal or a bad deal?
It depends.
If you're making 300 per turn,
Depends on what your
I mean,
conversion
you're
rate
making-
is on those appointments. So I'm not
Yeah, I
concerned
mean, what's
about
going-
leads. I'm more concerned about what is your cost per sale.
right?
to back
Versus, yeah. Hypothetically, we're gonna say it's the 75%, 70%, around in there. I mean, you were saying
Close down to 50, 60. I mean,
the thing with disc profiling, when you generate so much data, you got to have the characters to dance and play with the public. And so mixing and matching a lot of people through the disc profile was also huge as well. And it helped the conversion, but it's like with inbound leads, if you can convert them at 50, 60%, that's still the win if you're making a couple $100 off every turn. Obviously in Wichita, cost of living is pretty good here, and real estate, 200,000 gets you a lot in Wichita. Yeah, it's like I see these people selling 400, 500, $600,000 houses in Wichita, and we weren't doing that back in the days like that because it wasn't where the city was developed. We're talking about 15 years. And so it's just crazy seeing the average sales price go up, and it's exciting, but it's just like anywhere else, it's competitive. And I don't hear anybody killing it on the radio, but then again, who listens to the radio? Is the radio dead?
No, it absolutely isn't. But you have more competition in who's listening to certain things.
And
Like,
who's listening? and
You
who's
have,
Right.
like, you have.
sorry, I'm getting feedback in my ear. Sorry.
Like
I'm
Amelia?
getting feedback in my ear. Sorry.
Yeah, and I seem slow, so hold on here.
Yeah, something in our connection's laggy.
Because I'm getting a phone call
Yeah,
maybe.
something in our connection's laggy.
Hey,
Anyway, Adam, I got to sign off here. Sorry, man.
we'll try that. It was like,
I got to sign off here. Sorry, man. I got to Zoom. I'm supposed to be on.
oh yeah, we went a little over. We got some feedback, guys. Mike, you killed it. I would like to then have a recap, but it looks like the audio or Mike's messing up. So we'll circle back with that. Maybe plug it in at the end, guys. We went over.
Sounds good. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.